And it feels like there's kind of two buckets right here, right? There's people who are worried about surviving through this, and obviously then the cash positions they're in is going to dictate a lot of that. And then there's others that are kind of did the hard work already. They did the disciplined things in the good times. They've got strong balance sheets, and they're actually getting aggressive now. They're going to go steal market share when others are contracting.
Yeah, if you're in a good spot, right? I mean, there's some companies that are doing well, some companies that are doing decent. And I'm telling, those I've invested in, ramp it up, right? Because the cost per clicks, the cost for customer acquisition have gone way down. YouTube prices, Facebook prices, Google, across the board, Twitter, they've all just dropped like a rock. And so if you can afford to go after, and you have a vision for what your company's going to be like, right? Because you got to know in 2.0 what you're all about, where you're making your money and how you're going to do it. So if you have that confidence in your product and your service, go, put the pedal to the metal and don't stop until you get where you're headed to.
Yeah, you keep mentioning kind of America 2.0. Maybe elaborate, just like what exactly does that look like in your mind? Is this an acceleration of trends that were already underway? Is there other things that change? Like what's different?
Yeah, in a lot of respects, yeah. The things that caught people's attention before are, now are just right in your face. How do you treat your employees? What's your brand represent? How do you treat your customers? How do your customers brand themselves and how do you fit into that? So those are all elements of 2.0. But again, if there's something that you think could be better, if there's a better product, if there's a better service, what is it, right? I'm all about robotics and precision medicine and artificial intelligence. What is it that I can do there? I'm about, when we create medicines in this country, we typically have them manufactured overseas, and there are a lot of problems with them being counterfeit, not being as pure as they're supposed to be, and that created all kinds of illnesses and challenges. So we had already started creating some companies to address that. How can I accelerate those? Companies like Node.ai or IO rather, that, for artificial intelligence, the big companies, the FANGs, the Googles, the Netflix, the Amazons, they already have that code, right? They're investing billions, thousands of AI engineers, and they're pushing that envelope. All the small to middle-sized companies, they typically don't even understand AI. And so we're going to walk into America 2.0 with a lot of have and have-nots. The big companies are going to know how to go to work and put their balance sheets to work. The little companies are going to have to try to figure out how and where they fit with AI and new technologies. And so, if you've got a vision of how to put these new technologies to work and something you think should be just radically different, and you just got to go for it. And so I think there's going to be a lot of great companies created. What's it all going to look like when it's all said and done? I don't know, but that's the opportunity, right? That's why I'm trying to just visualize. Where do I see it? What do I think I need to do? How can I help? How can I change the game? And, and just be agile.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of gravitated towards you on Shark Tank because you really hammer home like this idea of the American spirit and entrepreneurship and innovation. And that's like built what we have today, right? It's built the greatest country in the world. It feels like in times of crisis, kind of the saying of there's no capitalist in a crisis, right? We get more towards the other end of the spectrum. Maybe talk a little bit about like, how do we ensure that we keep true to the roots of innovation and ingenuity and entrepreneurship and kind of use the American spirit to come out of this?
Well, that's who we are. Right? That's in our DNA. That's what makes us different than any other country on the planet. I mean, you don't see, countries built around entrepreneurship like you see in the United States of America, right? They don't talk about the French dream or the Iranian dream, right? We talk about the American dream, and that's why you see so many people come to this country. Even when you look at some of the greatest companies created over the last 20 years, they were started by immigrants who came here knowing that this was the best country in the world to start a business. That's not going to change. But, you have to pay attention to what's happening. You have to understand context. Bernie Sanders didn't have a movement for no reason, right? There were a lot of people who questioned capitalism. There are a lot of people who want stronger rights for workers, and deservedly so. There's a lot of people who rightfully want a higher minimum wage. I went back for my companies that I run and asked the question, are any of my employees getting government assistance? Because to me, that's the ultimate socialism, when I'm taking money, when my employees are taking money from the government because I'm not paying them enough. And so I wanted to rectify that. And so, for capitalism to continue to thrive when we come out of this, it's going to have to be a lot more compassionate. You're going to have to put employees first. You're going to have to put shareholders last. And that's going to be good for business, because how you treat your employees and customers is how your brand's going to be defined forever. Your people are not going to want to be associated with a company who had money in the bank and just ditched all their employees. And even if your back's against the wall and your company was broke and you had to lay or furlough or fire everybody, if you communicated with them and were honest and transparent, then people will understand that, because you as an entrepreneur or CEO, you're getting crushed just as bad, and so everybody's in the same boat. But, how you do things now, if you don't show compassion, if you're not nice, if you're not understanding, if you don't offer equity to employees, as an example, if you don't recognize you're going to have to pay people more to keep them, then you're going to be challenged.
Yeah. And we've seen this before, right? I mean, companies that obviously have strong cultures, took care of their employees, they've always, tended to do well. People really write books about it because it's so rare. And now I think what you're basically saying is, hey, everyone's going to have to start to put this as a core tenet of what they're building.
Without question. I mean, look, every single person who's on social media, which is pretty much everybody 40 and under, right? If not older and under, that's our brand. What we put on social media is who we are, and it's what we want everybody to see about us. And the products that we discuss, the products that we show in our pictures, the things that we say and do, those all represent who we are. And if you're not a product that has a good culture, that if you don't, think of more than just the bottom line, people aren't going to connect to you. People aren't going to get behind you. And you're not going to have a company. You're not going to have a business. You're going to be gone. So the bigger picture is capitalism has to be compassionate, but that's good business.
Yeah, for sure.